What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. Today we're going over Purrely. Huge shouts to Alex for this deck profile. He kind of upgraded it. So he won top 6 at the last regionals that we were at. And he also has gotten a first place at locals, which is going to be this list here. Before we dive into it, like, comment, subscribe, share a lot. And yeah, this deck's going to be like pretty decent in the next format because of the Fiendsmith and stuff like that. We are playing some cards for it, like we're going to be mentioning here. We are going to dive on in with the 2 Purrely and the Purrely, whatever you want to call it. So we're not playing 3 of these because of the fact that it's not really good being normal summoned. Like mentioned in the other video, it doesn't protect by Purrely Street because, you know, it is going to be your normal. And opening it up can be kind of bricky, so you kind of want to be seeing those cards you want to be seeing. And let them special summon out from the deck, obviously, and get the effect. It's a little bit nicer. And then Purrely, because, you know, it searches for your My Friend or your Street. Or you can also search for your Yeep, but a lot of times you're going to be able to add back the Sleepy or attach it underneath it to go for the Yi Noir, then being able to activate the effect. Now for the spells, we are maxing out on all of them. We're playing the triple copies of Street and the triple copies of My Friend. So you're not playing Terraforming in this build because you don't need multiple copies of you have obviously enough access with My Friend, this Purrely, as well as Hard Drawing and Prosperity. This beats a lot of the hand traps in the format, obviously being really good as well. If your opponent like beats over something, you're having these two being able to add back. It's the resource game management. It's huge in this deck. And being able to just like attach a copy of Sleepy to get you additional draw is quite nice as well. They're in the standby phase, so like all those stuff like that, just insane. But protection is kind of crazy. I do think this card needs to be hit myself, but that's just me. And then My Friend being able to add one of the 3 is pretty nice as well. But we are playing the triple copies of Pretty, triple copies of Happy, the double copies of Sleepy, and a double copy of Delicious. Unfortunately, we can't play any more of them because this is what the Konami has given us. We are playing the 1 copy of Yeep. You don't need to play 2 of it. The match that we're going to be seeing tomorrow, actually, we're going to be showing you guys off the power of Yeep being cross-outed. Kind of crazy that we are going to be watching that tomorrow. So stay tuned if you want to be seeing a purely mirror match. But Yeep is kind of nice. There are times where you want to see 2 of them. It just unfortunately feels like a brick most of the time. It also has a really cool interaction with droplets, which we'll mention, or cross-out in droplets, which I'll mention in a second. When we get to those cards in the deck. But this definitely can come up a lot, and then the graveyard effect is obviously reliant. A lot of people do shotgun this, but it does have like a lot of resources that you can be doing, like chaining stuff like Dark Ruler No More and stuff like that. So it's important to note that this is a card really important to when you're playing it. Not just a shotgun to put your Purrelys back in the deck. Then for the non-engine, we are playing the triple copy to Prosperity. Alex said the same thing in his deck profile. This card's insane in this deck. Being able to search for the exact card you need, but also pairs really well with a copy of Crossout Designator. So we're going to be showing off the next card as well with the Dark Ruler No Mores. So we are in a board breaker and hand trap format, you know, especially with the Fiendsmith coming out. We're going to be seeing you, Bell, and Fiendsmith make the incredible boards they're going to be making. People are going to be playing the hand traps and the copies of and the board breakers here. And unfortunately, our Noir here is actually affected by Dark Ruler No More. So being able to cross out call Dark Ruler No More is absolutely insane, as well as being able to play these cards and maybe like attach their board with Plump and stuff like that. But being able to like being able to cross out a Prosperity can be deadly as well, especially if they can't really search for anything or they've already burned through their combo, or you can just deal with their cards and you just don't want them to add one of those side deck cards. And of course, Dark Ruler No More is an amazing card for us to activate as well, you know, being an incredible card to discard if we don't need it, of course, being able to discard anything at random. Now for the other cards, we were playing the 1 copy of Talents, the 1 copy of Droplets. Something I'm going to mention about Droplets is Droplets, if they send the spell, you're like, okay, well, you can't cross out the Droplets. Well, in fact, if you have the Yeep in the graveyard, which chances are you're going to, you can actually go, if they Droplets, send a bunch of cards. As long as they don't send a trap, which most likely chances they're not going to, you can actually chain with Yeep and then chain cross out, call Droplets, and then obviously their hand, it's going to be negated by Droplets. And, you know, obviously then they're going to be wasting their cards and they just send cards to the graveyard for nothing. You still have your Noir in the field, which is going to be extremely useful. Talents is also really good. You could debatably up this to 2 if you wanted to. There are some cards that we can change. It's ultimately up to your personal preference to what you guys want to be playing. Then for hand traps, we also are playing a really weird version. We're playing the 2 Ash Blossoms, 2 Snow Rabbits, the 1 Veiler, the 1 Moonlets, and the 1 copy of Impermanence. So these cards are going to be our hand traps of this format. You know, we are playing the board breaker and the hand trap. Now, not only if these are good in your hand, they're also like really good in the crossout. So the reason why we're playing 1 and 1 and 1 is because first off, these cards aren't as good right now with the Fiendsmith. There's just so much gas with you, Bell, as well as the copy of Snake Eyes, that we don't want to play these and just see like multiple copies of them. As well as Street protects us from these, so chances are they're not always going to be as impactful for us. We still want to be playing them in case that we have to hit them like for one of those cards that like if we don't have access to Street and we have a cross out and our turn's going to be ending. It's just important that you have that kind of coverage, and having essentially a play set of them definitely does not hurt. Ash is really good as well. The previous format, we didn't want to always hit Ash Blossom for Snake Eyes, but unfortunately right now, playing with Branded as well, going to be one of the meta decks, Gaming Puppets and stuff like that. Ash and Ogre are just absolutely insane, as well as Tempai. And Ogre actually has some overlap with a bunch of other cards like IP as well as Appaloosa. But this deck does really struggle to beat. Being able to just hit this on an Appaloosa can be quite devastating for them. This deck just loses to Appaloosa, which we're going to be seeing a little bit more frequently. So it's kind of just useful to be playing against that, as well as a Tempai field spell. Now for the last two cards for the 41 list, we are playing a copy of Rivalry and the Medora. So this card was actually changed from the Call of the Year from the last. Now this definitely only really comes up against like random decks if you're going first as well, being able to discard it, and then you have like the shuffle back. It's never really dead because chances are they're not going to be able to kill you. It's good against you, Bell, as well as the Fiendsmith, and then of course also the Snake Eye deck, being able to put back those stuff so they can't get their draws or can't get their summon backs with Oak can be definitely nice. Just like essentially a triple copy DD Crow, being able to put back Princess as well can be useful. But it's just like, if you want to play Color Grave, you definitely can. Just being able to like replace 3 of those cards in such a heavy format where like there's just so much gas, definitely can help out. Now for the extra deck, we are playing the 2 copies of Purrely Noir. Obviously you have to play this card. This card's amazing. It's your Towers, the 1 copy of Purrely Noir. So let's get into this, being able to draw the cards as well and set your trap. Then we are playing the 2 copies of Happiness. I'll be just putting them off to the side. The 2 copies of Beauty and the 2 copies of Plump. So you definitely can cut down this if you want to. We are playing 2 of it because you can just always do it off Prosperity. Sometimes you need another one for the suck up. You can always undouble Beauty as well if you have like a really weird board, which is 2 copies of Veiler, quite nice. And the Happiness OTK that everybody knows. Very standard Purrely lineup. Now for the non-Purrely cards, we're playing the Nightingale, the Downard, and the Zeus line. We're also playing a Typhon as well. This definitely comes up, post-side when you steal the cards with copies of like Snatch Steal, whatever the other one is, the Change of Heart and stuff like that. And then the Zeus line, if you want to be able to make a board. If you're playing against a back row deck, sometimes you have to just Zeus. It's really good against stun as well, being able to they set up some stuff that they don't have, obviously, their copies of Skill Drain up. Then for the 2 links, we're playing the Anima and the Espidal Knight. This is just so that we can go and activate the effect of SP. Sometimes people play into the zones, which is you can obviously take, but don't always bank on that. Something else I want to mention, we're not playing the Moon, because in the side deck we just play copies of Cosmics and stuff like Twin Twisters. It's like too much resources to go into the copy of the Moon to be able to get rid of the copy of Skill Drain. So it's kind of more reliably open it up, which is just more important. But if you guys want to play it, you definitely can. I'm not confused with the side deck because I know that there's going to be a regionals coming up soon where Alex will be preparing it. And you want to kind of keep that secret for the next format. It is next format list as well. But I should mention, though, this is going to be post info. If you guys want to be knowing anything more, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.